Hi, Charlene Murdoch here with the Campbell County Chamber of Commerce. We are visiting with candidates today for Campbell County School Board, and with me is Ken Clouston. So welcome, Ken.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. I want to say, thank you for running. It is, it is a job, and it takes a lot of time and effort to be familiar with the issues and to go out and campaign. So thanks for making that dedicated effort. And we'll get into some questions.
Sounds good.
All right. So I think one of the big topics that is on people's minds is this discussion about one high school or two high schools, and we're midstream, and can we pull back, or should we have one or two high schools? So what is your thought on that, and if you can maybe discuss a little bit about why?
Sure. I've probably talked to at least 100 people on this, and it comes up with everybody ask, going out campaigning, putting up yard signs. I'd say at least 80% are in favor of two high schools. I think we all have concerns about the financial situation of our community. I feel confident after visiting, I've met with board members, administrators, state legislatures, teachers. I'm assured that the funding is there, at least for the next couple of years. So I think we go ahead with it. I really like the 9th through 12th grade situation for a community for the kids. I think as a school board trustee, you're an advocate for the kids, but also an advocate for the community. Those kids getting 4 years together, they get to know their administrators, the teachers, their classmates. I think there's mentoring that goes on from the older kids. So I really think in the long term for our community as an education center, the two high schools is going to work out better. I don't like the way we do it now. I don't like 9th grade being split, 10th grade by themselves. I don't think those kids ever get to develop the relationships that carry on later in life. So at this point, unless something fiscally really changes, I'm in favor of the two high schools.
Okay, thank you. Well, we've also heard a lot about the quality of education and what provides a better education for students, and is that the 7-day class period versus the block system? So what are your thoughts on that, and where do you fall on supporting which of those two options? Again,
a really contentious issue. I think this is brought up as much, and lately maybe a little bit more. I think people are pretty resolved that we're going to go to two high schools. A lot of concern I get from teachers on, are we ready for the 7-period day? I've served on a lot of boards, and I realize that the previous boards and administration have a lot of work into this and a lot of background that we don't. So I think we need to support them as far as the 7-period day right now. I do want the board to be open at looking at more of a hybrid schedule. I think math, foreign languages, English needs to be day after day, 45 minutes of concentrated study. I think those kids will learn better. If they do miss a class, they don't miss so much. So I think in those core classes, that's really beneficial, having it day after day. I worry about my mentor students. I worry about shop. I worry about ceramics, choir, band. Classes that take more time to set up. I don't think the kids are going to have enough time to really have the quality experience that we want. So I really want the board to be open and to work with the teachers and administrators and say, what's best for each individual class? I think there'll be some scheduling issues there, but I think this district can kind of work through that.
All right. Well, thank you. We've talked about the economy, and so as financial constraints hit the state of Wyoming and certainly Campbell County, do you feel full funding of K through 12 education should remain intact? Is that our top priority? And if so, what other state services or budgets should be reduced to help accommodate that full funding for schools?
Well, I think as a school trustee, my job would be to advocate for the kids in the school district. I think we'd have to work with the chamber, the city council, our local legislatures, the county commission, try to do whatever we can to keep the funding for our kids. And that's the job of a school trustee. That said, I think those decisions will really be made at the state legislature and by the executive branch. Those forms of our government have to look at the whole budget, the whole state, all of our citizens. my job would be an advocate for the kids, for the schools. But I think as a citizen of Wyoming, I have to also appreciate that there are other needs in the state. So I think as a trustee, I don't really have the knowledge or the experience to say this is what other programs should be cut. I don't think that's my job. My job is to present what I think is important for our school district.
Okay, well, thanks. Well, as we wrap up, Dan, let's talk a little bit about you as a candidate. So how do you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you differentiate yourself from the other folks running for the school board?
Well, I've been a resident here for 23 years as a physical therapist. I started as a clinical supervisor for the hospital and then rehab services manager. 11 years ago, I set up Gillette Physical Therapy. I had 2 employees, and now I have 26. So I've got a great team around me. It's been a wonderful experience. I think I have a lot of business and leadership experience that maybe some of the other candidates haven't had. I've been president and vice president of the Wyoming Physical Therapy Association. I'm a national lobbyist for physical therapy. I'm on the board of directors for the Healthcare Foundation. So I think that board experience, that leadership experience, hopefully will carry through to the school district. I believe in education. I went back and got my doctorate in 2005, but I also realized that not all kids are going to go on to college. I really appreciate the electives that our kids can take. Our kids need to be educated in life. I think this is one of the most important boards in the county. You know, kids learn their place in life, their self-worth, either at home or at church or in school. And we can't control the home or the church, right? But we can control what goes on in school. And I think that carries over later as citizens and in our society. I don't come into this election with an agenda. I'm looking at the decisions we make now affect our kids now, but also for the next 10 or 20 years, and how that will affect our community in the future. So I guess I come in with a little bit more objectivity. I don't have any kids in the school district. I waited until my son graduated. Gives me a little more time to serve this community. I'm accessible, I'm trusting. And if you have a better argument and I can't defend myself, I will definitely look at your viewpoint. So, you know, one of the things about being on a board is there's 7 people on this board. And the reason being is that there'll be split decisions. And if I'm on the wrong side of that decision, if people vote for and I'm on the 3 side, that's fine. I'll support my board and my community. The board's a representation of the community, and I think we need to be supportive of those people.
All right. Well, thanks.
Thank you.
Well, with me, Dr. Ken Clouston.
Thanks.
Running for the school board, and we will hear more from other candidates here a little bit later. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you.